this. Hello and welcome to a game of Dota 2. You are watching StarSeries. We are in day 28 of our group stages. And that means that this is the third last day. Tomorrow and Sunday are going to be the last 2 days of group stages. And there's only going to be one game today, but it's a very important game. A game that if Empire will take it, they will go to Kiev. If Rattlesnake will take it, doesn't really change anything, really. But for Empire, it's a very important game. Both of the teams, regardless of the outcome, will still have a chance to go to Kiev. It all depends on what other teams do in the next coming days. But for Empire, at least, of course, they want to not let it up to chance or let it up to other teams. This is their last game of the season, and if they win it, they secure themselves a place in Kiev. Of course, I am not by myself to cast this match. I'm actually joined by two people here. We have, of course, got Nahas. He is in the game. He is our stats man. You can also see him in the chat, and all the answers to trivias and polls, etc. you can find in the chat over on twitch.tv/ShiverGaming. And of course, the one that you will hear next to me is Vikermont, my co-caster. Welcome back.
Good to be back, Shiver. It's been a little bit of a while. I listened to watched a bunch of the games in between now and the last time we cast together, but it's starting to get down to the end. The bracketology is starting to get a little bit complicated. I think if Na'Vi, for instance, whose season is done, I think would rather that Empire win this game, if memory serves. To get knocked, it is still possible for Na'Vi to end up in a tie or get knocked out. But I think it's not possible if Kaipi lose here, or it becomes much more difficult.
Well, the thing is, Na'Vi has got a head-to-head advantage over every team apart from Quantic.
Right.
So that's something to take into account. And the thing is, it could still turn into a three-way tie, I believe. That's the thing here. I mean, we have got Alliance and perhaps Empire, if they win here, doing very well, and they are expected to be through regardless, even though Alliance still has to play 3 games, of course, and all 3 tomorrow. And it's just so technical. There's a lot of different options still for the teams because so many of the top teams still have to play apart from Na'Vi. And Na'Vi, because they lost a game on Wednesday up against NextKZ, they have their basically everything is there in the hands of other teams right now because they could have secured themselves a spot to Kiev, but because they lost, it's now up to other teams. They have 4 losses, which is going to be about the minimal that you can have to go to Kiev. The last game of the season, by the way, which will be Rattlesnake International taken on Quantic, will probably be our deciding match on how things will end. If it will be a tiebreaker or if Quantic is just going to go home. Quantic still has to play 2 games in total, also one up against NextKZ still, and they have to win that one as well. KP, they still have to win at least 3 out of the 4 games if they still want to be having a chance to go to Kiev. If they win 4, they're guaranteed a spot. If they win 3, there's a possibility they come into a tiebreaker depending on other results. It's yeah. Oh well, it's confusing.
It's complicated, but in a good way. I think it's good to have the last few games in a season still have some important factor. Part of it is that we did have a pretty chaotic season. Like, a lot of teams lost games that maybe they weren't expected to. Some teams overperformed, some teams underperformed. And all in all, it was a really exciting season as we get down into the last few days of it. So, Rattlesnake.int versus Team Empire. It's a pretty interesting matchup. Both teams have done well this season. Both have really, especially Empire early on, looked a lot stronger than people were expecting in the season. People were kind of dubious of the lineup. They were like, a lot of these players have been around the scene for a while. They've never really done anything particularly impressive. But I think Empire's looked pretty much like one of the 2 or 3 strongest teams so far, whereas Kaipi, some days it's hard to watch them and not be like, wow, this is one of the best teams in the world. And then other times they're very, very sloppy. So we'll have to see how they look in this particular game.
Yeah, I fully agree. Empire has got all those old school players that we've seen indeed a lot of. And, you expect them to do okay. But, I mean, Empire just is one of the teams that had just very solid performance overall. I mean, they've only dropped 3 games in StarSeries, which is less than Na'Vi did. Na'Vi, I mean, I looked through all the scores this morning to try and have a straight answer to who goes to Kiev and who doesn't, which was basically impossible. But
probably Alliance.
Yeah.
Probably.
But Na'Vi, I mean, they're a team that has lost 4 games this season, and against some teams that you would not expect them to lose.
Yeah.
But then against all the better teams, I mean, their head-to-head scores, only Quantic is the one that they lost for from the top 5, of top 4, I should say. So that's pretty impressive, and head-to-head scores do count, of course, if it makes if it is a tiebreaker. So they're not even doing that bad, but Empire just been a solid, Alliance has been solid, Rattlesnake has been solid. Those 3 teams would be the ones I say, yeah, they definitely should be going to Kiev, because they have been the most stable of the teams that we've seen. Alliance, Empire, and Rattlesnake.
Right. I definitely agree. And Empire, one of the reasons why they only have 3 losses, why they've really hit this season very well, is they have an extremely high aggression playstyle. They go very, very heavy, especially in the early mid-game. Part of this is just the players that they have. Silent is a player who, despite being in the 1 role for a little while now, of course, they started out as a support on Empire, and then moved to Quantic as the carry, and now is carrying for his previous team. He's a player who really likes to go in for that early mid-game style and be part of a very aggressive strategy. The one interesting thing I see here from the draft is Empire have taken supports that I don't necessarily think fit that well into a heavy aggression composition. Chen is very able to wander into a lane and deliver kills, but Bane a lot less so. I don't rate Bane that heavily as part of like a roaming ganking hero composition. He's more defensive.
Yeah, he's more considered maybe also a bit of a counter carry, and just if you have a hard carry, you can put him on the lane and he's fine. It's going to be safe lane by Empire indeed. They do pick up the Windrunner, which I like. We've seen actually Scandal run Windrunner mid before, which was very entertaining, so who knows, maybe there's still a chance for that, even though all those stronger mids are still in the pool, like Puck, Queen of Pain, etc. I like the Elder Titan pickup by Rattlesnake. They we have seen it before, Elder Titan, mostly on the off lane, but in this situation, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the mid lane, considering Darkseer is already picked up. Yeah, mid lane, I mean indeed. Gyrocopter safe lane, Darkseer off lane, Elder Titan mid.
10 seconds.
I mean, apart from that, the draft itself, the one thing that I noticed, like if I look, like IO banned outs, standard. Clockwork first ban is quite interesting, considering of course Bone 7 is gonna be one that I would expect to want to have it, but he gets a Darkseer, Naga Siren standard. The rest is all kind of standard, but I miss OD.
Yeah, they didn't. He is ignored. I think OD. I think we're gonna see him make it through drafts like this. Not every time, but it'll happen. It actually is still possible to draft him, by the way. Elder Titan is a pretty versatile hero, and even Gyrocopter can be run mid. So there is an outside possibility that we still see the Elder Titan. It is also possible that the Outworld Devourer. It is just possible that he sneaks through as well. Because sometimes, if you can't get a dominant lane matchup, or if there's enough opening of a draft for the other team to have one, then there's really not as much value to the hero if he can't overwhelmingly win his lane. That said, he is a very possible 5th pick sometimes, depending on how you do things. I think the Clockwork ban was targeted at Mag. Mag is a very, very strong Clockwork player. We actually saw him win a couple of games for Empire with that this season. And Empire, of course, do always have the option of doing the Roxkiss style support Clockwork, although usually that was on Yol, but I'm sure Vanscore is familiar with it as well. I like these drafts. Elder Titan, of course, is a really strong hero. I think Nahaz will probably have the exact stat, but I think his win rate is really good. It's somewhere around 60 or 65%, I think, in professional games. Just because he has great CC, he has good damage, his debuff is pretty amazing, and his ult it's quite good as well, especially against strength carries. Like, it's pretty powerful against Dragon Knight, who has an enormous health pool.
Yeah, and even though they don't have the biggest setup for that Earth Splitter, I mean, normally, for example, Naga Siren would be the ultimate setup hero for that ulti. But a Darkseer and a Gyrocopter are actually pretty decent as well. I mean, the vacuum into a cooldown with a slow, of course, allows for that Earth Splitter to set up perfectly. So teamfight potential definitely there for Rattlesnake, as they also have a Jakiro to vacuum into Ice Paths and Macropyre, you name it, is there. Lifestealer gets picked up, last pick, which is also interesting that he actually made it through to this late. But it will be a safe carry for Empire, and it will be just an off-lane Windrunner with a Dragon Knight mid. It's a very safe lineup from Empire. Windrunner, a safe off-laner, Dragon Knight safe mid, and Lifestealer a fairly safe carry as well. And we're gonna see how much of that safety is gonna be paying off, because of course Rattlesnake, they are looking like they want to try and force out some team fights later on. I'm not sure if we can count Elder Titan as a core later in the game. I mean, it really depends on his mid game. And in that case, it will be Dragonite Lifestealer up against Gyrocopter Elder Titan. And in terms of mid game, I don't actually know who I would favor in this case. Apart from that, Rattlesnake is gonna win that team fight, especially later, or also later on, of course, which is the biggest difference I think in the two drafts.
I gotta say, I love the Lifestealer pickup. I think it's exactly what Empire needed. In fact, and I didn't have a chance to mention this in the draft, but I think Lifestealer would have been a better ban than Luna was. They banned Luna 5th. Luna is a hero that definitely fits into the sort of game plan that Empire like to operate on, but I just think the Lifestealer is so strong against their supports, against Rubik, Jakiro, even against Darkseer. Lifestealer's pretty good against all of these heroes. The only thing is, of course, the Earth Splitter will do a lot of work against Lifestealer, but I do think that Silent has the opportunity to have a very, very, very large influence on this game from the one roll.
Yeah, we have got Empire already scouting out that Rattlesnake was indeed in their jungle, and therefore blocked some camps, so they will be able to either counter ward or at least be aware that it's not going to happen. Observer ward also placed here for Rattlesnake, which is interesting because this doesn't really block anything, I believe. It does give you that extra vision, so if you think like there's someone in the jungle that you can maybe take down, a gank possibility is of course there. And of course, perhaps someone is setting up for a gank in mid, and then you might see a Chen walking that way as well for going mid. Another ward placed to make sure there's no ancient stacking, which is of course something that Windrunner can go to. If she didn't get enough experience on the bottom lane, she can farm those ancients. And well, there is a Bane here, so this is a bit of a dual lane. Almost want to fly. Gonna lay down some harassment up on Pylai Die. Oh, Mag has picked up Windrun. Let's see if he's forced to use it. So far, not just yet. Fatebolt going through as well. Mag taking quite a bit of harassment here, but not able to not needing to do anything, or at least not mana-wise. Has to use, of course, a salve. But overall, let's take a look at who we have where and what kind of lanes we have got here, because indeed for Empire we do have a dual lane here on the bottom. Mag playing the Windrunner, always want to fly on his Bane. And they'll be trying to get as much experience from there as possible. Scandal in the mid will take on the Dragonite, as we already have got Vanscore on the Chen waiting around for a walking courier to come by, and let's see if he's gonna get lucky. I mean, of course, so far Rattlesnake has not seen this Vanscore in the jungle just yet. We have got Silent playing the Lifestealer, of course, on the top lane, as you already mentioned. Let's see if he's gonna get lucky with this boar. I think he will be. Should be. One more hit.
He's gonna give it a shot.
Boom.
Yep.
Well, that is just, bottle delayed, because that was the bottle from Sing Sing.
Well, actually, that's a really, really big deal, and I guess I'll introduce... Well, no, first I'll talk about it for a bit, and then I'll talk about Kaipi. So, 73% of our viewers, by the way, as Nahaz mentioned, did actually predict that Rattlesnake International, or the former Kaipi team, would actually take this one out. So, looking towards them on the Radiant, a very important game for both these teams to try to make it into the Star Ladder playoffs. Sing Sing in the middle on the Elder Titan. The bottom lane will be AUI 2000 on the Rubik. Eternal Envy playing under some... I don't even know, some alias on the Gyrocopter, and then Pylai Die on the Jakiro supporting, and then Bone 7 will be going up into the jungle. Actually, oh man, wow, this courier kill is going to be a really, really, really big deal, because Bone 7 on the Darkseer has a bottle that he now can't bottle courier either. They could have used the double sort of pick up 2 bottles on the way and then go back style for the courier, and now they get neither. Now let's also note, Sing Sing wasn't, he was pooled a set of tangos. All he bought with his first 600 gold was 2 branches. That's how important he found it to rush that early bottle. You almost can't rush a bottle any faster than that. The only thing you can do is the pub style, 0 items in your inventory, just pick up bottle with 600 gold. But just from that, you can tell how much Sing Sing values the bottle for this matchup. And early on, I thought that he would trash this lane. He got a better creep block. He was harassing Scandal very well early. If that courier had brought the bottle to him, I would say that Sing Sing would win this lane by a huge margin. Instead, because Vanscore did... Actually, Vanscore is...
yeah, he's
I don't
about
think he
to go
dies.
back.
He does die,
Yeah, he does die. Sing Sing with the kill steal, but with his... well, there's not really a steal, I guess. Ooh, Mag. Bit on the wrong place on the wrong timer. In the meantime, we also have some problem for Sing Sing himself. Indeed, Scandal with a double damage rune. Might be able to pick him up. Has got to breathe fire. Gets him. 1 for 1.
Nice tango. That was all actually due to Scandal's really smart using the tango to cut the tree, let him walk in and get that extra... He had a DD rune, so he needed to maximize his melee damage done to Sing Sing. So really pretty smart play from both teams. It's a nice first blood for Rattlesnake.int. I just do think that The courier snipe really, really was brutal. I'm surprised that they didn't build a flying courier earlier, given the fact that Sing Sing did rush bottle as heavily as he did, and Bone 7 got a bottle.
In the meantime, Mag is getting a homing missile on his face. Piladai just chasing it out. Might still die for it though, will indeed die for it. Mag with the kill, and now Nightmare setting up for AY. Can they take him down as well? There is no shackle. Mag has got another power shot again in a second, and it looks like he will indeed go down. No hope for him. That's going to be 2 extra kills going away of Empire here on this bottom lane. As, well, with Sing Sing having his bottle again, he's going to be, or having... 6 seconds, he'll have his bottle again. He's going to be happy with that, and he's really going to need it because Scandal has just been in a quite dominant position ever since that bottle went down. Of course, in last hit-wise, Sing Sing's not really that behind, and of course, he did pick up first blood, which is an important thing to note. But it's, yeah, it's going to make a big difference once Sing Sing has got his bottle again, because then he can just spam out his Astral Spirit all that much more.
We saw Bone 7 heading up to the lane now. He went for the... So I think if the bottle had been smoothly going to him, he could have jungled so quickly that he actually could have rushed that Midas build that we've seen him innovate in and that other players have been duplicating. But because, and this is smart from Bone 7, because he was slowed down so much by that courier snipe, he's now just going to try to deny a little bit of farm from Silent, who himself, by the way, went Midas. So that's quite interesting, as he's actually out farming Eternal Envy substantially and has the Midas. So he'll be quite a bit bigger than this Gyrocopter, who I think is probably just going to just rush his first couple of items, maybe like boots drums and straight into the BKB.
Yeah, we've got, by the way, a rotation. Vanscore and always want to fly. They are going to pick up a creep. Are they just going to jungle? Ah, they're just going to jungle. Well, that's lame. Perhaps only getting a Centaur and moving mid. Nope. Just getting a Centaur and moving back bottom. I mean, yeah, as you said, they have been able to slow the Gyrocopter down. Not totally shut him down, but slowing him down is already enough in this case, because Lifestealer just getting all that much more ahead, just to give an indication. It's 28-11 here. Ooh, Shackle actually up on Piladai. It hits. Power Shot comes out as well. One more hit needed from Matt. Can he actually get it? No, he cannot. Dual Breath misses, but it doesn't matter. It is Envy that's looking for a pickup, looking for Vanscore. The home missile will fly as well. And one more hit, and that's going to be AUI getting that Rocket Barrage up on Mag. Telekinesis there as well, dropping it back. Nightmare not working out. In comes the Centaur again, might be able to help out, but it's not enough for Mag. Mag ends up dying, and Always Wanna Fly is the last one alive.
They missed the Centaur stomp as well.
Yeah.
That was very nice team fight put together by Kaipi. I actually think that the 3 versus 2 wasn't actually going especially well, so it's great to get the pick up on Vanscore, who... The trade-off, like, look at the fact that this Chen is level 2 at 6.5 minutes. Yeah. That's much, 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 much below the Chen power curve. Now, he basically traded 1 level for the Courier, which is a very, very worthwhile trade. But what he's done since then is really slowed him down. This is going to be a pretty low-impact Chen, especially considering the fact that this game, as you mentioned earlier, is going to be decided by fights in the mid-game. And if he doesn't have his heal, for instance, by the time the next big fight happens, that'll be... tougher for Empire than I think that they were hoping for.
Yeah, I agree, and it's... I mean, if they would have gotten a kill here on the bottom lane just now, that would have been a much lesser issue, but because they just got almost wiped out in this bottom aggressive, semi-aggressive try, they just can't afford to have the Cheng hang around any longer. Even though he is coming back, level 3 still, he needs to get some farm up in that Radiant jungle, if nothing else, because apparently they can't get all the kills here, and we actually have Always Wanna Fly rotating. He might be just putting up his ward, as of course he does have that one in his inventory. Scandal in the meantime, sitting at level 8. I mean, this is a laning phase where both of the heroes are okay with letting this laning phase just last a little while longer. Nobody is really gonna get the kill without any helps of supports, and you know, they're still trying to get the max out of their bottom lane. And I mean, Empire is happy in the situation because even though their bottom lane is not really working out as intended, they still have Silent taking a lot of farm, and the longer they can go without fighting, the more time Silent has to make his Midas pay off. So that's gonna be good for him. Actually, we have a smoke up for Piladai and AOI. Piladai does show himself now though.
Yeah, pretty obvious that he's sitting there. Maybe an attempt at some sort of bait onto Eternal Envy, but Empire too canny for that to really work. And Mag at this point is leveled enough that he can probably just stay in this lane and farm just fine. So this Windrunner is in pretty good shape. So that both teams developing their game plan. I think Rattlesnake.int were expecting to do a little better at this stage than they were. It was really just the fact that mid lane didn't go as well as it could have. Because Elder Titan, Mag.
Yeah, it takes a lot of harassment. It might actually go down. In comes another Rocket Barrage perhaps. one more hit needed, that's all. Dragon Knight comes in though with the Dragon Tail, but Paladine, and the Breeze Fire actually also still snipes AOI. Scandal gets himself a double kill off the cost of just one offlaner Windrunner. I think that's gonna be very worth it.
Yeah, I actually think Mag would have lived if Shackle wasn't such a weird spell. I think he definitely thought that he was gonna latch Envy like to this tree, and he shot from here. There should be enough of an angle because Shackle has a certain angular guess, but apparently he didn't get it. So he dies. Empire maybe could have actually had both of them live, or at least done some more damage to Eternal Envy. But a double kill for Scandal's great. Scandal has had an amazing game, and it's all completely due to Vanscore. So he has Vanscore to thank for it. He's 63 for 12 with 3 kills. I mean, he's made some good plays like that rotation and killing Sing Sing with the Tango cut. But he was really struggling. He had a bad creep block early. He got 0 last hits in the first creep wave. So, I mean, at this point, Dragon Knight can just rush straight for Shadow Blade if he wants, and that'll put a lot of pressure on Gyrocopter to build his BKB quicker.
I think that's an item that he indeed would want. I mean, you talked about it at the start of the game slightly. Empire fairly aggressive team normally. And Shadow Blade definitely fits into that one, even though their lineup itself doesn't really shout aggression. Shadow Blade will help with it. We have got AY sitting on the top lane, by the way. I'm hoping for him that he is not going to get scouted out, because if he does, he is going to be dead. Ooh. No, Bone 7's going to be fine. Bone 7 picks up an Illusion Rune and gets harassed here a bit into the hands of Sing Sing. Search away, it will be keeping him safe though. But this should be a tower pickup. It doesn't go very slow though. But now with Always Wanna Fly coming in to help out clean out the creep wave, that should be changing around, but we'll see. Vanscore already has got no creeps left. They all tanked up the tower and died. That's a bit of a shame.
They can probably trade it for the tower anyway, or at this point they'll really want to trade it for the tower, but Rattlesnake.int is planning a piercing pincer motion. It's too late. Sing Sing kind of half-heartedly walking over. With Sing Sing, maybe they could do something there, but without him, it's not going to happen. It's interesting that Bone 7 did end up going for the Midas anyway. I think once he saw the Midas on Lifestealer, he was like, oh, it's that kind of game. Then I do have room to build this Midas. And Midas on Darkseer, I think some people still regard it as sort of a wacky joke thing, but it does have a lot of uses. Because Darkseer is a hero who flash farms so well, the Midas really does let you ramp it to whatever items you want. Was it your game? Were you casting the game where Miggle went Midas Dagon 5?
Yeah.
The game was hilarious. The game was really, really funny.
I couldn't decide if it was a troll build or not, and I think, like, I know I said, like, this is an important game for Quantic. This cannot be a troll build. It worked out great. They won, so...
I mean, if you get... The thing about Dagon is, if you get it really fast, it wins games. It wins games a lot more than almost any other item does. If you time it right. And in that game, the farm was rolling in. I mean, he went, what, 17-2? It was hilarious.
Something like that.
I don't think Bone 7 will go Dagon here. There's no point. Although, it actually is really good this game because of Natural Order on Elder Titan reduces everybody's magic resist. Your Dagon does full damage. Yes, please.
Even on the Dragon Knight.
Even on the Dragon Knight. Well, actually, that's the interesting thing about Empire choosing to pick DK into Elder Titan in this game, because they already saw the Elder Titan. But even... He takes a lot of the armor. I'm
not sure if Scandal should be doing this. Running into 5 heroes with just one. Gets a Dragon Tail at least. In comes the Earth Splitter. That's going to be dodged at least. Telekinesis is still there. Scandal gets put in an ice path. In comes a Nightmare trying to help out, but I think that's just not a fight that Empire should be looking to take. Maybe they can get Pilot die. Darkseer Wall goes on silent, just gets punched in the face by Sing Sing, goes down. And a Jakiro for a Lifestealer, definitely not a favorable trade, and that's gonna be a double kill for Sing Sing. He picks up the Dragon Knight, looking for perhaps Almost Wanna Fly as well, but he has got an Urn Charge. He will be staying alive for now. And this is gonna be maybe a Shackle.
Nice Shackle.
Weird latching, but it works out. Cooldown still comes down. Vacuum into that as well, into the Iron Shell. Both 7. Not gonna go for this one, as there will still be a Brain Sap. That's gonna be the end of Sing Sing. Tower will live, by the way. That's gonna be, of course, something that Empire at least can hold on to. But they lost their 2 core heroes.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad decision by... I don't honestly really understand what Silent was thinking going in on that. He was so low. I mean, maybe he thought that his armlet toggles would just be so perfect that NP, easy game, easy life, but it wasn't. He died almost immediately after coming in. That's a lot of lost time for a Midas Lifestealer to not be farming. And, I mean, he is doing great. 102 for 30, whereas Eternal Envy's at 71 for 12. I mean, Envy's going to get a little more farm right now just by farming these Ancients that were stacked for him, but... Yeah, it's an unforced error, in my opinion, for Empire. I think after Scandal used his ult, they didn't want to waste it, but it's okay to not, you know, if you're going to trade 2 kills for 1, better to just let the Dragon Knight ult go.
Yeah. I mean, they had a ward up the high ground as well. It's not like they were running in blind. So, interesting decision making from Empire. It's still they are ahead on kills. It's 6 to 7. The gold graph is looking slightly in favor of Empire because, of course, they have taken down a tower. And that does help out. Experience graph, a bit more in favor of Rattlesnake right now, of course, because of those kills just now. Earlier kills went the way of Empire, later kills went the way of Rattlesnake, and later kills give more experience. We have an infested lifestealer sitting in a level 6 Bane, aka Fiend's Gripping Bane. It's not gonna be a lot. Well, I guess this is the only one they can get. Jakiro. Infest out, should be a pickup. Brain Step to get the kill, and the TP gets cancelled by the Gyrocopter. Smart choice. Maybe if Empire waited a little while longer, Gyrocopter would have been there, and they might have been able to get a kill on him, but oh well, now they get a kill on a tower. Not bad.
Right. I do want to note the excellent play of Always Want to Fly this game. I mentioned in the draft that I don't really rate Bane that highly when you're trying to be very aggressive, but he's really made the best of this hero, and because of all the kills he's participated in 5 kills, including getting 4, he's managed to pick himself up Arcane Boots and Urn, as well as the fact that he's now level 7. So he started a little bit behind on levels, but now he's the highest level support on the map. And I think Always Want to Fly has been a huge impact this game. The only unfortunate thing is that Rattlesnake were able to respond by picking up Rubik, so the Fiend's Grip is going to be a little bit of a tricky proposition. But with the smoke gank, actually Empire could kind of blow this game open if this works as well as they want it to.
Yeah, they scout out Bone 7, it is daytime. All they need is the Fiend's Grip. Maybe from the high ground, but look at this. Everybody of Rattlesnake sitting middle. They realize Empire is missing from the map. Perhaps they're gonna try to backstab this Scandal, of course, having some of the vision. Bone 7 now with his Invis rune popped. But he knows that he should be around here somewhere because, of course, they did just have vision of him. They actually rotate around. They don't want to try it. Not 5 on 5. It's too big of a threat. Scandal inside the ice path with the vacuum. In comes a cooldown as well. He will get sent home. Will be in time. Hand of God helps out, and it is in time. Scandal lives. Vanscore making it happen. Home missile chasing down on him, but it doesn't matter. They will lose their tier 1 tower, but it's better than losing their Dragon Knight, and maybe then some if that indeed would have gone awry.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Somebody just IM'd me saying that a Dota 1 balance patch was out, but they were linking 10 patches ago, and I'm just like, what? Apparently Cyborg Matt announced that there was a new balance patch, but it was 6.69, which is 9 versions ago.
Wow. Awkward.
Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, Empire didn't get... I still think that Empire are in pretty good position this game. I was surprised... Going all the way back to the Midas, I was somewhat surprised that they went for this more conservative approach than they've typically been taking. But it's starting to pay off. I mean, he's got Phase Boots armlet and now more than half of his Sanj and Yasha. I do think Empire are going to find a great timing now that they have the BKB on DK and the SNY on Lifestealer to just push really hard as 5, and it's going to take some very, very good execution on Sing Sing's part to leverage his team into an ability to win against that.
Yeah, we just want to point out the warding from Empire being his own part and so aggressive as well. Vanscore just went in, or not Vanscore actually, Always Want to Fly just went inside the Radiant jungle, was able to place a ward there, making sure that he sees basically everything, including like who comes into the jungle to farm, so that they can go for these kind of infest ganks if they want to. I mean, it's a bit of an odd choice to go for a Bane Lifestealer combination infest bomb, because it's not normally someone that you see. But it is definitely a possibility because, of course, you have got the Fiend's Grip with that as well. But
sure.
Now realizing that there's too many people in there and that their ward got countered because Sentry Ward just scouted that one out. They backed themselves.
I mean, since Fly has been doing so well, I don't think it's out of the question for him to maybe even get... Did he get that stack? I don't think he did. Oh, no, he did. He did, barely. I don't think it's out of the question for Bane to consider a Blink this game. That would really give him fantastic positioning. If he doesn't think he can get 2150 in one go, Force Staff is a pretty decent item as well. So, I mean, if this becomes a rich Bane, I actually think he could have a pretty big impact on the game. The only question will be taking out Rubik quickly so he can't steal Fiend's Grip. But Dragon Knight and Lifestealer, I mean, they should be able to do that just fine.
Now in comes a stomp, up
Nice
onto
sleep.
Earth Splitter, Ice Path, into the vacuum, into the Earth Splitter, down goes Windrunner. BKB turned on by Scandal. That's his 10-second BKB right there. If he lives, it's gonna should be that he indeed lives. That was, of course, that was only a fraction of the combination that we could see way more often. It has so much potential. I mean, there was no Macropire, It was only 2 heroes this time, but it's so very scary.
I'm kind of surprised people don't ban Darkseer against Bone 7 more. I mean, Vacuum is really the glue that makes the whole thing work. Once you land the sleep, you have 5 years or so to land that Vacuum. And Vacuum makes everything else because you get Macropire, you get Ice Path, and of course you get Earth Splitter.
And Cooldown if you want.
Right. So it's very delicate. Yeah, Cooldown, that's true. That's a good point. I mean, it's all very delicate, and it relies on the Astral Spirit being able to land the Stomp. So Empire just have to be a little more careful about positioning. I mean, they went up. They have no wards on the map right now. And Kaipi are pretty well warded, so they went into an area that they didn't know, pushing a tower that wasn't extremely low into a composition that they knew could combo them very effectively. So another sort of little unforced error, but I still think they have a pretty good shot. But they are giving Kaipi a lot of room, especially Eternal Envy room to build up his item set.
Yeah, he is sitting on face boots, has got enough gold to finish up his drums, but perhaps he just wants to save for his BKB to be ready. Shackle does not latch. Perhaps they want to try at least get a deny on the tower. Doesn't get it though. In comes a vacuum into the ice path, into the wall, into the cooldown. Cooldown misses though. Hand of God already used. Almost want to fly. Tries to get himself out. Mechanism keeps him up as the home missile will chase him down. He pulls himself in the nightmare. Will keep himself up. Sing Sing. Open moves up on him. In comes the Rocket Rush. Scandal though still alive, and the Fiend Script is there. Down goes the Gyro, the first victim of this fight. BKB turned on by Scandal, looking for more. Looking for Sing Sing, who tries to TP himself out. No such luck. Dragon Tail is there. And another kill added to the board. Empire controlling that team fight for as long as they could, until everything that Rattlesnake had was thrown out and they could come in and snipe everybody. Well, 2 people. The 2 cores, actually.
So that's how you play against this composition, right? As soon as you see the Elder Titan walking in and maybe the Spirit, you disperse conally, and they're going to get Rush off this too, which is it's exactly the right thing to do. You know Envy's not coming back, you know Sing Sing's not coming back, you're fine. And they don't have their tier 1 bot either, although they do have their tier 1 mid. Yeah, there's really no chance that Kaipi interferes with this in any meaningful fashion. Maybe Bone 7 gets the vacuum of his life? I don't know. It seems really iffy. Yeah. So what you do is when you see Kaipi coming in... no, maybe we have a fight.
Yeah, they have that sentry ward, which is the only vision. Now also an observer,
right.
So that's going to help out. It got scouted out though, because there is an observer there also from Rattlesnake. But they'll be careful.
If Empire keep winning, it's going to be doing that exact thing again. Nice Centaur Stomp.
Very nice Centaur Stomp. Vent score. Nicely done. That surge into telekinesis is going to be the most annoying initiation. You can't really run from that because it's just so fast.
It's tough. Yeah, Surge is definitely, yeah, I mean, the initiation capability of really anybody plus Surge is huge. Even, the funny thing is, Elder Titan even, like, his range on Astral Spirit is already amazing, and then if he's just surged and hits you with it from, like, 2,500 units away, there's not a lot you can do. But yeah, so that fight, like, Mag goes here, like, into the trees. He had a high probability of dying, and he knew that and was fine with it, because everybody else went this way, this way, this way, this way. And now... even if you land a sleep on 1 or 2 people and they ended up landing it on 1, I think they hit Mag, you can't follow it up with anything because you can't vacuum everybody down. You can't land your Ice Path or your extremely slow Jakiro unless he gets a Surges all the way back here. The Ice Path ended up being here. You just can't find the actual spot to land all your spells. And in the absence of an enormous Gyrocopter, Rattlesnake absolutely must land all of their spells to win a fight. And in that one, they landed about 30-40% of their total magic damage potential, allowing Empire to really just do a lot of cleanup work. Now, Kaipi are pretty escapable because of Surge, because of all the sort of stuns that they have, so they only lost 2 people. Unfortunately, they were the 2 most important people, Gyrocopter and Elder Titan.
Yeah, they hang around too long there, as Empire is going for a smoke. I mean... I do want to point out that fight indeed, I mean, it was just purely Empire's control that got them that fight, that made sure that Rattlesnake did not get more out of it. Bone 7 might be in some trouble here. In comes a 4-stop, Mag showing that one off. In comes a vacuum into the wall still though. Ice Path only upon Mag, the rage is there, that's gonna be Bone 7 already dead. AOI TP'd in, well he's gonna be dead before the fight even starts. In comes the Earth Splitter, perhaps it can still make something happen. Fiend Script up on the Gyrocopter already. Where's the damage? BKB best Scandal wants to take him down. Another Dragon Tail, that's gonna be another pick-off. Tower still alive, by the way. Aegis does get blown as Pylai TPs himself out, realizing it's not going to be his game for now, or at least not going to be his fight. Sing Sing already backing off, still trying to harass some with his spirit. Might be able to get Vansquare actually with his next spirit, but tower will go down, and that's going to be it. Another fight taken by Empire. 3 deaths this time, including again the Gyrocopter, who did finish up most of his BKB before he died.
Yeah, he did finish it, but that's 3 for an Aegis, plus they get a tower. Really, Empire are just playing really, really well, and I like the focus on either taking out AUI 2000 early in the fight, or keeping him far back. And now that's 2 fights in a row in which, I mean, Bane channeled most of a Fiend's Grip, and both times were on Gyrocopter, the person that you least want to get gripped. And the first time AUI was too far away, this time he was dead. So Always Wanna Fly is still having an insanely good game, and in fact, I really regret ever saying anything about this Bane pick, because they've really made it work insanely well. He's 6-0-3 now. He's actually well on the way to his own BKB. He only needs about 2,000 more gold to have that, so once he gets BKB, it becomes vastly harder for Rattlesnake to do anything about it, right? So they're not going to vacuum him, they're not going to Ice Path, they're not going to even Echo Stomp. Really, the only way they have to interrupt it at that point is killing him, and they're not going to want to focus on him necessarily, or Earth Splitter.
Yeah. Hope that he dies in a team fight, but with the BKB, perhaps along the way, Always Wanna Fly is going to be happy with that, because of course that's a big thing that Rattlesnake have, that team fight, and it only takes one item to counter that, just a BKB for everybody, and everybody lives. Or at least lives longer, let's put it that way. And by the way, indeed, Bone 7, Always Wanna Fly on the Bane, rather also with a B. He is level 10 support. The rest of the supports on his team, the Chen and the 2 supports on Rattlesnake are all level 8, so pretty big difference between those. As we do see that Empire, I mean, they're still ahead. They're actually 7,500 gold ahead right now, with only 1 tower up. As in, Empire's taken down 3 towers total, while Rattlesnake has taken down 2 in total. So the difference is definitely nice for Empire. Experience graph, same story, and it actually only started at the fight at the bottom lane. And from then on, 2 big fights, and that means that almost 8k experience in favor of Empire, and it's looking just pretty good. And of course the experience in this case means that Scandal's almost level 16, and that level 3 Dragon form is going to be huge, as we have got an Invis rune on Scandal, and he has an Infested Lifestealer. I'm not sure if he can find anybody though, because, well, everybody is playing so safe on Rattlesnake right now. It's tough to find one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think that Bone 7 is...
They find one. Oh, and they fight the best one ever! Hello, Gyrocopter!
Wow, that's
bye, Gyrocopter!
Well placed. We mentioned a little earlier on that Empire had no wards, but by now they've done an extremely good job of warding. So that they have this very good jungle vision. I don't think Rattlesnake were protecting Eternal Envy's farm enough. It is important that this Gyrocopter become more of a factor, because you can rely on your combo landing, but what about when it doesn't, right? What about the fights in which you only get 60% or even less of the combo? You need the Gyrocopter to be big, and he's level 12. He's so far behind where he needs to be. There's a 5-level differential between Lifestealer and Gyrocopter, and there's a 6k, 5.5k net worth differential between the 2 of them.
Oh, bye, Rubik. Dragon Tail into open wounds. Another pick-off. And
wow,
I mean, another fight, no Fiend's Grip being stolen, and yeah, Micropyre on cooldown. Micropyre is not that long cooldown spell, but if Empire is gonna continue pushing this, well, then you would have wished you had that Macropyre, but it doesn't look like they're gonna do right now.
No. Yeah, it's... I mean, Macropyre is a pretty short cooldown, and it doesn't really trigger you to be like, oh, Macropyre's down, we've got this. There's still the danger of the Elder Titan. I mean, Bone 7 and Sing Sing are doing well. I mean, their killed KDA is nothing to write home about, but their farm is. Because of this early Midas for Darkseer, he has his full Shiva's Guard. That's going to be quite useful against Dragon Knight, Windrunner, and Lifestealer. I thought he might go for Sheep, but the fact that there is the BKB on Dragon Knight, the fact that Lifestealer is Lifestealer, made him not want that as much as he wanted the Shiva's Guard.
They're going to try to backstab Empire here.
Nice. Actually, if they win this, and Darkseer goes to his next item, Sing Sing finishes Quiris, this could be good.
Oh, Always Wanna Fly will be first. Ice Path is there. Vacuum on 3. Darkseer will there as well. And Always Wanna Fly. Everybody dies. Not everybody just yet, though. Just 2, but there's the 3rd one. There we go. 3 people in the vacuum. Vansquare trying to TP himself out. It looks like he will be able to. Nice dodge on the vision there. And Scandal also able to get himself home. He got sent back home, I believe, by the Chen. But
Critical fight.
That was, yeah, and that was the kind of positioning, like the kind of thing that Empire all the time wanted to avoid, and they just get caught out. The vacuum was brilliant because it was only Always Wanna Fly that was that far forward, but the vacuum just got 2 extra in there, and I mean, from there on
really
out, if
great
you got 3 people in your ice path, well, it's over for those 3, basically.
Yeah. The Vac was amazing. They killed Lifestealer as the highest level person on the map, which is very important. So Gyro's now level 13. He had his BKB just before that fight. Wasn't that critical, but it was useful. They, of course, kill off Lifestealer. They kill off Windrunner. Just what a very, very, very important fight for Kaipi to get. The positioning was good. The smoke was smart. The vacuum from Bone 7 was amazing. And that buys them a lot. I mean, Assault Cuirass is done based off of that fight. Like, you can see, he just bought out completely for it.
Yeah.
Which gives Gyrocopter a huge amount of armor boost, as well as, of course, giving Elder Titan an even bigger armor boost. It also makes Elder Titan a good alternative damage source, because Elder Titan loves attack speed, because he gets a big flat attack bonus from the fact that he brings his Astral Spirit back. So that'll be useful, the D-armor, the plus armor, especially considering Gyro literally has just Helm of the Dominator BKB. It's very important to have something on somebody else on the team that helps the Gyro out.
Yeah, and that means also Empire has got extra pressure to finish theirs, which is of course Dragon Knight's duty, but he is still quite far away. And actually they're gonna try to find a gank again, or try to find a pick-off. Infested Lifestealer on the Dragon Knight. They will find Bone 7, who is around here. Not quite sure if he's, he's so careful, look at that.
Smart.
Just
really
already
smart.
Backs off.
And they immediately, they actually just give up on it right then and there. Bone 7 pings it triumphantly as he spotted the gank coming out.
Just spider sense is working out for them right now. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's that would be a very good kill for Empire. I mean, Bone 7's starting to get a little bit scary. He's only, again, that fight, how much gold did it actually give Kaipi? See, it looks like it didn't give that much, but it really just, it was at a bunch of critical item thresholds. Like, he's only 1,000 off of Aghanim's Scepter. And being able to generate a Dragon Knight in his ultimate form, Illusion, is, pretty awesome. It's even more of their whole combo damage that you saw when they land it is enough to just instantly win a fight.
Yeah, even the support Jakiro, he's got himself now a 4-staff, and he's on the same level as Always Wanna Fly. I mean, that death right there was of course the first of his in this game. Did set his BKB back a bit. But then again, a support with the BKB is still a pretty nice thing to have, even if he gets it only in 600 gold, which might be coming in a couple of minutes' time. Roshan is going to be up again soon. Rattlesnake is aware of this, and they smoked up. They're looking for finding a fight to make sure that it's going to be going their way. We already have Empire around, though. Not that much around that they can actually initiate straight away, but they are aware that it might be happening. They have one ward, which is not scouted out just yet. And they are able to see Rattlesnake with that, so they realize this is going to be coming to a fight. And it's of course a very clutch position to be in, which is ideal for Rattlesnake's team fight.
Yeah. I do think that Rattlesnake, if they could secure the next Roshan, would essentially reverse the position of the game. I think up until now, Empire has had a sort of compounding advantage. If Rattlesnake could steal the Aegis or win a big fight and take the Aegis, it would completely reverse the course of the game, in my opinion.
Scandal gets hit by the stomp. Roshan bashing on him.
Just one, though. They didn't hit Silent, so it's not worth trying to follow up with Earth Split or anything like that. They did chase them out of the pit, though.
This must be one of the most annoying things, like...
Yeah,
it can't take
definitely.
damage, you can't force it away. What are you gonna do against that spirit?
It's definitely one of the strengths of Elder Titan. His effective range of being able to harass or poke a team, to use the terminology of the other game that's popular in MOBA sports. No, like, he really is able to annoy you when you're in the pit in a way that the only other hero who can do this is Visage. And we know just how much Visage can delay a Roshan attempt. Well, Elder Titan is the same way, except his... you can't get 100 gold for picking off his way of harassing you, whereas you can for Visage. So yeah, as a result, solely as a result of the mechanics of Astral Spirit, Rattlesnake is able to take Empire completely out of the pit. And yeah, they're going to rush in and try to take it themselves, because if they could put the Aegis on Eternal Envy, I just feel that sole addition changes the balance a lot.
Yeah, power
so Empire can't leave. Yeah, they need to try.
They need to try right now, because they're not backing off right now. The Stomp doesn't hit anybody. Power Shot still scouts out that they're still on it. In comes the Infested Lifestealer in the Dragonite, let's see if they can get something. Vacuum inside the ice path. Mag, already dead. Buys back though, wants to be back here. Earth Splitter comes out as well. Scandal still alive for the moment, but goes down as well. Buys back as well. Silent, he'll be having the same faith right here because he's getting chased down. Just that. Oh, can they Spirit reach him? I think he might be able to. Bone 7 with the double kill already. And now with the buybacks, can Rattlesnake still stand around here? It looks like they're quite confident that they can actually. But their whole team fight is now gone. Nice Shackle. But no initiation possible off the back of that one. Lifestealer actually was able to live through it. That means that he can't buy back. It means that he actually is going to be taking a while before he's back in full glory here. Scandal's going to come in though. And he wants to try and take... Oh, Vacuum doesn't reach him. The Aegis gets picked up by the Gyrocopter. Radiant takes the Roshan. And Scandal stuck on the high ground. And actually he is going to be going down. Dragon Tail still comes out. But the Fate Bolt from the low ground from AOI picks him off. That's a Dragonite that died. Ball back. Died again. And the pause comes out from Empire. Need to decide how they're gonna continue this.
Yeah, this is this seems like a pretty tactical pause. Yeah, this seems about as tactical as a pause can possibly be. No, I mean, yeah, they lose 4 people, including a buyback. The thing is, it's just their composition is so much worse, Roche-wise, than Kaipi's, and you saw that there when they finally decided that they wanted to interfere with the Roshan. I mean, Jakiro. These lines of play, the one on the right's the east side of the pit and the one on the west side of the pit, are the best spots on the entire map for Jakiro to fight. The only other spots that are as good, basically, are if you have a fight near the Radiant Ancients, but this is a pretty rare area, and this spot, which generally happens during laning. Like, the Roche is Jakiro's playground, and this is a composition that really makes Jakiro excel because of Elder Titan, because of especially Darkseer. So Empire... all of their plays were low percentage if they wanted to contest the Roshan. I actually think the final thing they ended up with, which was trying to steal it, was probably the smartest, and they weren't that far off. It was really only very well-timed vacuums and other effects from Rattlesnake that prevented Scandal from stealing the Roche. Like, trading Dragonite, even after buyback, for the Aegis, like if he had managed to get the Aegis, is completely worth it. Like, it's okay for him to have died twice as long as you kept Gyrocopter off that Aegis, but... instead, they got nothing, and yeah, I do think at this point Kaipi is more or less in control.
Yeah, I think so too. They definitely have a very strong Gyrocopter, and Empire basically cannot fight for another 6 minutes. They can try to find some pickoffs for sure, but they have to get their items up, they have to get their own Assault Cuirass, they have to get that Scythe of Ice up on the Windrunner, the BKB up on the Bane, and you know, they just draw the game out longer, and drawing the game out longer in this case all favors Rattlesnake, because they have got that big team fight, and the longer a game goes, the more chance it is that one big team fight is what it's gonna end it into. And Empire, of course, I mean, their split pushing is not that amazing, so it all comes down to outplaying your opponent in terms of pickoff and positioning. And I don't know, I don't think that Empire is gonna be the one to win that one, purely because positioning wise, Bone 7 by himself can just make sure the positioning of Empire is gonna be worth nothing in a fight.
No, I definitely agree. I think very, very carefully, like, the way that they won the fight at Tier 2 bot, that one fight where they just really spread out very well, as long as it's in, you know, the team fight occurs in a spot where they can do that, I think Empire they have the chops, like, they're a good enough team that they can pull off the very, very careful positioning. It's just very difficult, and the margin of error is incredibly small for them. And it's getting smaller because, of course, Eternal Envy is building up his items. He now... has 2.2k gold. I think he actually bought something because he had 4k gold. Yeah, he's making his MKB right now. He's actually finished it. So that's a lot more damage, and that narrows your margin of error. They have to land less of their combo to kill you because Gyrocopter can contribute to it. Yeah. And of course the combo itself is ramping up with stuff like Ags on Darkseer.
Yeah, also just completed off the back of that team fight. I mean, everybody starts to look more and more wealthy on the side of Rattlesnake. We do have an MKB already up on the Lifestealer, just in case Envy was of course trying to build something like a butterfly, so already that is preemptively countered, which is great. But, I mean, he needs more than that right now. He also needs an Abyssal to just make sure that Envy can not attack at all. Or maybe even Sensing, because an Elder Titan is not one that you would focus straight away in a fight. It's more like that you would focus something like a Gyrocopter first. But Elder Titan, with indeed, as you already said, also Caress, that attack speed that he has, if his spirit hits on a lot of heroes, he is going to be hitting like a monster truck, and it's going to be over for example, Bane very fast, because even though Bane has got his BKB ready, which is, you know, awesome and all that.
Yeah, he'll just die.
He'll just die.
even just to flat cannon hitting him while he's cuirassed, right? Because natural order, let's keep in mind, reduces your resists as well. So you're taking tremendous amounts of physical damage from that gyrocopter. That's the nice thing about Elder Titan. He really... Oh, this is a nice play to get AUI, but they gotta get out of here. Nice shackle to cover their butts, really.
Yeah, Sensory Roar still
didn't latch, but it just delayed Envy enough that they didn't think about making a play. So that was a nice kill. I was about to note that the Shadow Blade, like they invested a lot into this Shadow Blade Infest combo, and it's actually been more counterproductive than productive. Like when they enter fights and both of them just get caught at the same time, it's almost like, wow, I really wish this Lifestealer wasn't inside this Dragon Knight, so at least they'd have one person doing damage.
Yeah, I mean that team fight, if you get stuck in there. We already talked about it, it's just, you know, you're going to be having a bad time, and if you have then two people at the same place, that's already not going to be favoring your odds.
Yeah, I don't even know, yeah, I'm not even sure you should be doing it. They should maybe have the Lifestealer come into fights a different way, and then use the Infest mid-fight, perhaps. I don't know.
Well, to find pickups, it's great. To initiate a 5-on-5 team fight, not so much, because of what we just said. I mean, it's just... Oh, Scandal gonna get scouted out already. I mean, there's Sentry Wards aplenty around here. And actually, if he gets picked off here, that's gonna be huge. Ice Path misses though, Scandal. Should be able to get himself out. Scythe of Ice, by the way, now ready up on the Windrunner, so Mag has that one.
Yeah. It's his first major item of this game. I mean, not counting Force Staff, obviously. So, Scythe could be useful. There is only one BKB carrier on Rattlesnake. It's the Gyrocopter. Oh, nice catch on Mag, though.
Yeah, Force Staffing forward. Can he actually stay alive, though? Vacuum back. No, he cannot. Oh, wow. Bit of a trigger-happy BKB there from Envy. Not really needed. And, I mean, he had Aegis as well, so... But anyway, it's still... It's a 7-second BKB, actually. That was a pretty big deal. That was a pretty big throw of a BKB charge.
Yeah, not necessary to BKB. I mean, better safe than sorry, maybe. He was spread here, so... there is the high ground right here. Maybe Dragon Knight pops ultimate, stuns you. If they didn't want to fight there, then they want to make sure that they're not pulled into a fight that they don't want. Rattlesnake's fights have to be set pieces, right? They have to be in control of the positioning and how the fight begins. Otherwise, they run the risk of having one of the components of the combo just completely fall apart. So I honestly, I can see the rationale that Eternal Envy went for there. You don't want to take a fight that you don't want, right? Like, because he could, if they don't get any of the pieces to come together, they lose the Aegis, they lose Gyrocopter again, they lose this control of the game that they worked so hard for.
Yeah, Scandal, by the way, all the way on the other side of the map, is still really wanting to have his Assault Cuirass, which is the one thing that he's working towards. He's going to take some Ancients to help him out. There's now a tower difference in favor of Rattlesnake. I think for the first time this game we have got only one tier 2 tower left standing on their side, with them just taking out all the outer towers in quick succession of each other, though we still have that gold graph in favor of Empire.
But a lot of that is on the Lifestealer, and gold matters, but it matters whether you're able to deliver that gold into effectiveness, right? And Scandal's been taking so much, Silent's been taking so much damage early in fights that he just doesn't get the time on target to actually use all these fancy schmancy items. And I want to talk about I think the Veil of Discord is an amazing pick for Paladai here. It's a good item on Jakiro in general, but in this game, having that Veil to just give you bonus magic damage in a game where your team already does insane magic damage and you have the natural order to remove a big chunk of the innate magic resistance of the other team. I mean, keep in mind, Empire doesn't have a pipe. They don't even have anybody building the pipe. Eventually, Vanscore will probably do it. They don't have casual cloaks or anything on their team. Like, they are going to take huge. Yeah, they have it on Vanscore, but the BKB is only at 6 seconds on Scandal. Empire's just going to get blown up early in these fights, and I usually think Mag is a really underrated player and is extremely strong, but he's struggled this game. He's 1-6. This Windrunner hasn't... He's gotten maybe two-person shackles. Like, I don't know. It hasn't been high impact. When you pick Windrunner, you really expect her to be able to... It's part of why people don't pick her. Like, you need her to land those two-person shackles to make it worthwhile.
Otherwise, you might as well pick something that can just stun like an Impale
Has a
or
stun.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more, well...
I mean, she can do damage too, but he's just been dying so fast. He only has 7 kill participation. Like, it might be the lowest on his team. Well, no, Chen has the lowest, but still.
Yeah, Rattlesnake sitting inside the Dire jungle, and I mean, this is the Dire right here. They have smoked up. The smoke already wore off because it just took too long before they found someone. Mag now revealing himself, and we already have a ping out as well. I mean, this is something that they can see, they saw. So Empire's not gonna have the element of surprise, and even though I think that Rattlesnake could have tried to just, you know, surprise Empire by revealing that they know where they are and just try to take a team fight, they're just gonna continue farming. Wanted to take a fight on their terms just in case.
The thing is, they lost the Aegis on Eternal Envy just because it timed out. And again, the next Roche, Rattlesnake has no real reason not to wait for it, right? Because they still have a much better Roshan composition. And the next Roshan is the cheese. So they're more likely than not going to take those either for free, or Empire's going to take a very low probability attempt at stealing it. So there's really no reason for Rattlesnake to start a fight unless it's just like a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, Shackle doesn't latch. The Hex is there, though. Up on the Gyrocopter. BKB turned on by Scandal. They want to try and fight this. The Fiend's Grip already there. And the BKBs make sure that Earth Splitter doesn't matter. Bones having the first one to die, but in comes Envy. Turned on his BKB, turned on his Satanic. Looking for pickups. Already finds Scandal. Now looking for Silent. The Ice Bat there as well. We'll get sent home. Let's see if it's in time. Nope, not in time. And or Pilot died with a double kill. Now Sing Sing will go down, but he at least makes sure that he takes Mag with him. And that's gonna be a Bane going down as well. No real surprise about that. Double kill for also Eternal Envy, and that means 4 dead on the side of Empire. And they better start looking towards some buybacks if they want to survive this. And yeah, the only buyback that's there on the Dire side is the one that actually didn't die. Fence score.
Right. So Chen could buy back. This is essentially free racks for Rattlesnake. I don't agree with the decision. I just think, yeah, Empire, they're still... they're having the backdooring issues, but they can probably still at least take the tower. Maybe they go into racks. Either way, now Roshan is completely free. Free as the wind. I don't know. Empire, they're still showing like the Quantic signs. Like they just don't really make that great decisions after a certain point in the game. I don't think they had a chance to turn that around. Like they just didn't really have the positioning that they needed, and they got nailed by an Earth Splitter naked. Like there was no real vac. There was no ice path. But it doesn't matter, right? Because it interrupted Fiend's Grip 1.5 seconds into the Fiend's Grip.
True.
Like it was really rough, in my opinion, a fight for Empire. And I understand that they feel like they're not like gaining more control over the game. And if they had won the fight, maybe they could take the Roshan for free. But just the execution during the fight itself wasn't shipshape, and as a result, Rattlesnake is now vastly ahead.
And they didn't have division either. I mean, the ward was already countered up on the high ground. There was no real visage for Empire, or vision for Empire that, visage, damn heroes. Yeah, the vision wasn't there for Empire to try and, you know, make that team fight really go their way.
The idea is, like, not bad.
Yeah, it could have been better if they maybe had vision. It didn't go that bad, but just Rattlesnake pure strength was able to still take it down.
The timing was right. Like it's around the time when you would want to do something like that. The execution's not there. Like imagine Mag lands that shackle on Eternal Envy, right?
Yeah.
Then you don't have to use your Scythe of Vice on him. And you can use the Scythe of Vice on, for instance, Sing Sing, so he can't land the Earth Splitter. Always when a fly gets completely caught out, yeah. That's probably Roche. I think they just go straight to Roche from here.
Yeah, they might not have gotten maybe the most prior target that they would want, but just one Bane, it's a pretty big pick-off.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, I mean, Roche Cheese on... I don't even know. I think Cheese probably on Darkseer, if I had to guess. Why not? He'd have to ditch something for it. He can probably pitch the TP scroll, or maybe it's time to let the Midas go. Yeah, I think maybe he uses the Midas, then takes the Cheese in the Midas slot. And he's got 3.2k as well, if he wants whatever the hell he wants.
7 is not around the Roche, so they have no intention of taking it.
Well, they can pass it to him later.
It'll be Sing Sing instead.
And he finishes his Scythe. I mean, this Elder Titan's big now, too.
Yeah, Lifestealer's still able to pick off Rubik. I'm not quite sure why he was that far out.
Just a gift of a gem, okay.
But Abyssal being used for that also, and the gem goes the way of Advanced Square. I mean, it's not that important right now because, you know, map control is a big deal in terms of farm, but right now the control is so far inside of Rattlesnake anyway, even if they don't have the vision.
Well, the main thing is the Shadow Blade, right? With Gem, you can always see the Dragon Knight coming and just completely ruin his day, especially if he's carrying a Lifestealer in tow. Without the Gem, it's a lot harder to do that. So yeah, I mean that's actually a pretty big loss, but I don't think it tips the scales of the game, but it is an unnecessary and painful loss to lose that Gem.
I'm not quite
Can I
sure
just
what
buy
Mag is
another?
planning on doing here. Yeah, it's off cooldown again. They can buy one.
Nope. They have 5 minutes, I think.
What was? Oh, thought we
Yeah,
already had
they've
one.
got 5 minutes. The Empire can buy one, but Rattlesnake can't.
Well, Empire, they just took a venture on the Radiant side of the map, but... Well, they got Ancients out of it, which is, I guess, nice, but not more than that. They have got Scandal forced back towards the bottom lane to make sure that the lane gets pushed out again. In the meantime, the lane that was already pushed out by Empire, or on the side of Empire, is where they already lost their racks. That's the lane that's being pushed out by Rattlesnake right now, and we see it drawing on the minimap, and we know what they're planning on doing. Just push that top lane out, and then rotate mid from that point onward and take the tower there.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, we noticed that the early low Chen levels were going to make them struggle, because Chen is a hero who doesn't really scale that amazingly into the late game in the first place, and then if you also are running the risk of having him be under level, it becomes even more of a pain. And now he's 3 levels behind AUI, so Vanskor, he's got the level 2 ultimate, and, I mean, Vlad's is great. I mean, I love Vladimir's offering as an item. It's very useful for that lifestealer to have 2 separate sources of lifesteal just to keep having good time on target and good power. But if the Chen dies very quickly, suddenly, you know, you don't have a Vladimir's offering, you don't have a mechanism. So and he runs the risk of just dying at the very beginning of fights. That said, Venskor's like been doing well. He only has 2 deaths. Like he's been sitting around the very, very, very outer edge of fights in order to make sure that he keeps the Vlads, he keeps the ult, he keeps the mech. The bigger problem is still Mag. They've got to get Mag more involved in these fights. They've got to get him landing shackles, really, to start off fights.
Yeah. We have a refresher up on Bone 7. Well.
Wow. Wow.
If this is, I mean, if Empire gets caught on a team fight, they're dead. That's basically it. Ice Path, which is only a bird, but it's the bird that lands the tornado, so it's worth it. Already the Enfeeble up on the gyro, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference. I mean, he'll still stand there and take the Roshan. We have got a, we are going to Orchid ready. In comes a Hex. Shackle does ledge up on Bone 7, but they can't force him down. They have to deal with the Gyrocopter first. BKB turned on my Vanskor, but he's going to get picked up. Hand of God won't keep him up right now. In the meantime, Scandal and Silent looking to take down Sing Sing. Successful at that, but Scandal and Silent just bursted down. There's too much. The Darkseer rolls there. 2 dragons copied. And that's just gonna be, that's just gonna be it. That's gonna be maybe even over. Vanskor, Silent, Mag. Can they make something happen? No buyback on the Dragon Knight. Silent already bought back. In comes a Shackle. It ledges, but the damage is not gonna be there, and Silent gets sent back home again by the Chen. Yeah. Just because that's the only thing they can do.
DK and Lifestealer needed Heart of Tarrasque this game, I think. Just to... Whenever you're fighting a combo composition, you know that there's some... Sure, it's a very high amount of fixed damage, but it's a fixed amount of damage. If you can live through the entirety of the combo, then you can continue to deal your damage. Instead, Silent has been dropping really early in these fights. Maybe they get Envy at least, but he's still got Aegis, so...
Ice Path is there.
They
He's
won't
gonna
even
get sent back home again.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Nope.
It goes down before he can.
That's what I'm talking about. They don't have the HP. The Dragon Knight and the Lifestealer...
That was just Armlet toggling at the wrong time, though.
Oh, lol. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's Mag, by the way. Yeah, the GG is called Empire. They will let themselves be in the hands of other teams right now for Kiev. And that's going to be a couple of... yeah.
Trolling the post-game.
But Empire, the team that, with this win, if they would have won this one, they would have been secured a spot to Kiev. But now that they lost, they're in the hands of other teams in terms of being in a tiebreaker or not to go to Kiev. Same thing goes for Rattlesnake. They're still not out of the ballpark yet, or out of the woods yet, rather. It's Rattlesnake has to win up against Quantic on Sunday to be able to make it to Kiev.
I think Empire will advance. It's just my concern is for them is what the hell do they do in the playoffs, Cheever? Like if they just win every game that's shorter than 30 minutes and lose every game longer than 40, like the teams that they're going to face in the playoffs are going to know exactly what to do against them. They can draft with a certain strategy in mind. They can play with a certain strategy in mind. Like Bone 7 had a slow start this game because he bought a bottle and wasn't able to use the courier for it at all because the courier died. And yet he knew that if they just stretch it out, they'll be fine. So he goes the Midas, comfortable in the fact that the rest of his team will give them enough space to advance it to a point in the game at which he can dominate. And you saw Kaipi, even when they were quite a bit behind, just playing with the confidence that, you know, sooner or later we'll land the combo. That'll slow Empire down for about 5 to 10 minutes and extend it to the time where we can rely on them to make mistakes. So, smart play by them. I think Empire are a great team. I think this new roster is performing much more than any roster Empire has had since the Funnick times, but it's not quite robust enough yet at all stages of the game.
Yeah, they have definitely some areas to work on. This was their last showing in StarSeries, so it's up to other teams right now who need to make it happen. We're going to see more games tomorrow for StarSeries. It will start tomorrow on 1700, so the standard time again. We're going to have 10 more games in StarSeries in total. 11 with also the postponed game from today. But 5 more games tomorrow, 5 games on Sunday, and the other extra game is still left to be played out at a time unknown and still left to be scheduled. But tomorrow we're going to actually have the last 3 games that Alliance needs to play in StarSeries. They have to still go up against Ubels, Dusa and Aspera, and we'll see how they do against that. Fnatic will play their last game as well up against Ubels. And next KZ will be up against KP, a game that, right now with this win under their belt, they actually are allowed to lose. They can lose 1 more game, still be in a tiebreaker to go to Kiev. They cannot lose 2 games though, and they cannot lose against Quantic.
Yeah.
Some rules there. Anyways, of course, thank you for watching. And any shoutouts for you, Vikermond? Plugin?
Sure, yeah. Shoutouts to you, of course, for letting me co-cast. StarSeries for this is, in my opinion, the best Starladder season that I have yet watched. It's really going down to the wire between a lot of great teams, lots of cool games, lots of close games, very few stomps. So, of course, shouts out to that. And to all the viewers, both in Dota TV and Twitch TV. It's really good to be back. I was out of town for a while, and then work was pretty crazy, but back now. And shouts out to 3 Mask of Madness builds on Elder Titan. It's the strongest build there is for Elder Titan. I expect to see it a lot more in the future.
Yeah.
As you can just see, he did extremely well here. And when you think about the fact that all he built was 3 Masks of Madness, it's really quite a remarkable performance.
Yeah, only that 5 times, 6 kills, 12 assists, and of course his GPM was not even that bad either. I mean,
yeah,
new meta being built right here.
Yeah, I do think mid. I didn't get to talk about mid Titan, but mid Titan's pretty good. I've seen Bulba playing around with it as well on Team Liquid. I think it's actually quite strong.
Yeah. The constant harass if you have a bottle is very strong.
He craps on a lot of other melee mids.
Yeah.
I was surprised that they picked DK. It was a stroke of luck that they sniped the courier, honestly, because otherwise this would have been a lot shorter if the courier was up and running.
Yep, we're gonna jump ourselves out of this game. I'm gonna still stream. I'm not either gonna play Dota or Amnesia, I'm not sure yet. Of course, if you want to continue watching competitive Dota, I believe that the last game between Alliance and Super Strong Dinosaurs is still going on over at Beyond the Summit for We Play Season 2. And that's actually it. Today was a very quiet day. Tomorrow there's going to be a lot of Dota, of course, as well. Not just Starladder, but also Tech Labs will be there. There will be Ace Dota 2 League again, of course. And then Tolic Pro League, believe, has got a game, not entirely sure. And also the Rapture Gaming League will show some more games. But a lot of Dota again tomorrow. And otherwise, have some fun watching Dota today. Or stick around to watch commercials. And maybe after that, watch some either matchmaking or Amnesia. We'll see about that. We'll be right back.